So we recently moved into a new house not that long ago, and this new one comes with a barn. Now the barn itself is great, right? It needs some work, but it's kind of this amazing space. But the problem or the challenge is that the barn also comes with stuff, some of which will get moved out, some of which will stay. But I have this feeling when I enter this pretty cool, amazing space of a barn most of the time, and that's that I feel kind of overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed because I'd like to put some of my stuff in the barn, but I don't know where to stick it because, well, it's pretty full, right? It's got a boat, a snowmobile, traffic signs, all of which are awesome, right? And could have some use. But then there's also things in there like busted piles of concrete, and that's the problem I have. How do I add my things into the barn that's already pretty full with stuff? And here's the thing that's more universally applied. If you want to start something new, the first step, which is the first thing we often overlook, is we need to make some space for the new thing to go. Before we can add anything new into our lives, from a coffee table to a hobby, we need space to put the new thing. That's just generally true. It's also true that most of us are realistically overcommitted, and yet the American way continues to be just do one more thing, one more team or opportunity or activity. But you can't add one more thing to an entirely full, busy life, just like I can't add one more thing to my barn, not without organizing and cleaning a few things out. Look, my life is a lot like that barn. There are some things in there that are great and incredibly meaningful, and there's other things that aren't. There are some areas of my life that are great and meaningful. Some habits also, though, are like those piles of concrete, remnants of days gone by in the past, and they just need to go in order to make more room. And the longer I live, the more I realize that that applies to me physically as well as spiritually. If I want to do something new, it starts with making space. Jesus points to this kind of thing all the time too, right? When he's out cleansing the temple, he's out not just removing the remnants of days gone by, but he's cleansing the things that are unhelpful and distracting. He drives out the money changers for many reasons, but part of that is to make space for people to encounter God at the temple. And so here's the conclusion of this all. If we want to be people who are trying to follow Christ, who want to be disciples and are trying to become more like him in the day-to-day practice of our lives, that involves the internal step of making space, right? If we want to add a new habit or structure or rhythm, for many of us, we're going to have to figure out something we can let go or slide or lower in priorities, because we can't add new things in without making space with what we already have. Right? And I don't know how that lands for you. Maybe that feels easy, maybe that feels hard. But I think for most of us, we're going to resonate that that is just something that is deeply true in our overbusy and overburdened lives. And it's not coming out of a place of guilt, it's an invitation to live differently. And if we want to live differently, the first thing we need is space for you, for me, and for God to move amongst us. All right, friends, grace and peace. Have a good week.